Welcome in. This is Legacy Beyond Wealth. I'm Ben George with Rob Shelton, founder of Axio Wealth Management. And I know this is a great topic today, Rob, that you want to get into here about special needs planning. So I know everybody's probably asked the question if they have children or they have people that are close to them in their family, hey, what happens if I'm not here to protect them anymore, right? I mean, I think that's a big question. So this is kind of what we're addressing today, is that a lot of this is not about just hoping that your wealth's going to take care of those that you love. It's about putting a plan in place and structuring so that does.
Absolutely. And, you think about it when you have kids that don't have special needs, you're usually thinking about an age at which they maybe be of the right mindset and maturity to be able to handle an inheritance or taking care of themselves with a substantial sum of money. But the sad thing is with someone with special needs, that may not really materialize. And so making sure that we take care of that and that we have it structured the right way can really be a lot to protect that, if I can call them a vulnerable individual, to make sure not taken advantage of and that they're really protected is really important.
Yeah, it is absolutely important. We're going to get into that today. Just a reminder, you can always take the time to contact Rob. All the contact info is in the show description, so take advantage of that. AxioWM.com is the website. You can learn a lot more. You can also watch more videos as well. But there's this discovery call where you can begin talking about some of these things, whether it is a special needs family member or a special situation that you might have. Those discovery calls are the perfect place to start with that. But as we get into this, Rob, I think it's probably easiest and best to just start with what actually is a special needs trust.
Yeah, it's a structure that basically allows you to set aside some assets. Think of it like a vault for some of those individuals that are most vulnerable. It's nice because it stipulates how and when someone that's looking after that individual can be able to access the money and be able to use it for that vulnerable individual's care. And it's nice because you want to have it set up so it doesn't violate any of their Social Security benefits or any of their Medicaid benefits and things of that nature. And so, protecting these assets are huge because we want to make sure that these vulnerable individuals are taken care of and that they can live their best life that they possibly can and not necessarily be put at risk out there.
And as you look down to kind of the primary types of trust, there are two different types, right?
Yeah. And the first one is what we call first party trusts. And then the second one is what we call third party trusts. And when you think about it, these are where you're setting aside money just for your own child. They're often from an inheritance. And sometimes it's done through a settlement of some nature, maybe a lawsuit that a child had. We have a few clients that are in that situation where they became disabled because of an accident that took place. And so that settlement put that money right into a special needs trust. But the downside is that if the child passes away, it's the government that can lay claim to those assets. And so we really want to be able to have what we call third party trusts, which are funded by parents and grandparents. Anyone else that really wants to help out this individual, they could put assets away for them.
It sounds like there's a lot more control and a lot more flexibility with that latter option, the third party trust.
Yes, absolutely. A lot more flexibility. And I think when you think about it, people want to be able to have that flexibility. It's hard to plan. We just saw the big, beautiful bill get passed in Washington. And a lot of people were worried about some of these Medicaid recipients and know that the funding is going to be cut. And so, flexibility just equals a lot of choices and options that as things change in life down the road, you can be able to adapt and try to change and not lock things up to where you painted yourself into a corner or that vulnerable individual into a corner and can really use those assets to benefit that individual.
Yeah, we're talking about the special needs trust. And again, if you have any questions, please use the contact information down below to get in touch with Rob and Axio Wealth Management. They help clients with stuff like this all the time, special situations or not. If you're just looking to build your wealth and make sure you're a steward of that wealth, Axio Wealth can help you with that. So you look at these different trusts. Once you've created this, I know funding is a big part of it. You got to kind of take that next step and make sure you're putting your assets into that. How do you fund it wisely?
I think that term wisely is really important. We've met with some individuals who maybe had put too many assets away for a vulnerable individual. And you often wonder, well, how can you put away too many assets that are inside there? And I can give you just a couple of examples with some that we've met is where our client was a sibling to one of these special needs individuals. And when mom and dad passed away, they had a special needs trust, and that money was put away inside that trust, but it locked away a lot of the inheritance money, more than they could ever be able to pull out. And so, one mechanism that we came up with is working with the estate planning attorney to be able to determine what is that wise funding. And that probably needs to be evaluated about every 2 to 3 years, because so much can change. In fact, in one client circumstance we're working with right now, the mother of the special needs child said that she might outlive her special needs child, but she never thought that was possible. But all of a sudden, health deteriorated pretty quick for that child. And so you want to make sure that we have the right amount in there, that we're taking a very proactive approach to that.
What are some key strategies maybe that people can consider, or some of the common ones that you will utilize here for this type of trust?
Yeah, I think, with the strategy out there is definitely keeping it liquid. I think that's another part about funding it wisely. If you have a trustee that's out there that locks everything up in assets that aren't liquid, it can be very hard to get those assets into a liquid position to be able to help that beneficiary or that special needs child when they need the money and the assets. And so I think that's definitely one of the strategies, is keeping it liquid. The other is having the investments invested in the right time horizon that you can be able to have. And that being that, you don't want to have everything invested aggressive, for a time horizon 5 to 10 years out, when there may be some immediate needs that are there. And so reevaluating that time horizon and the risk that's being taken is some of the strategies you definitely want to be able to consider.
Are you ready to unlock the freedom to live your best life? Schedule your no-cost 60-minute discovery meeting with our team today. During this session, we'll take the time to understand your family story and financial dreams. Together, we'll craft a personalized roadmap designed to help you achieve your goals. Let's explore how we can unlock the freedom for you and your family to thrive. Just click the link in the description of today's show to get started.
All right, so that's some background and some insight into how to fund the trust. Now, you mentioned trustee. I know that's a big part of it, right? That's the person that helps manage it. So how do you go about finding the right person and that you trust and that can take care of this?
Yeah, that's really, really important. I mean, that's where they're the one that ensure that everything that's written down actually happens and takes place. And so these trustees, you want to put a lot of good thought into it. Someone that you can trust, that has a good judgment about them and can follow through on tasks that they're given. I think that a lot of times some people look at it and they go, well, maybe I don't want a relative or a friend to have to play that difficult role, that may have to say no sometimes and not be the popular person. And that's when maybe a third party trustee might be the right place to be able to use. And we've seen that in certain circumstances. And other times it works really well to have a friend or a relative that's there. But what we do find to be pretty common is that people change over time. Ben, I don't know if that's the same about you, but myself, I look back 20 years ago and I'm a little bit different person than I was, and I hope a better version of myself. Yeah. But we've seen some people come back and go, I chose the successor trustee, but they've changed, and maybe they're not the right person for me to be able to do that. And it might be from issues they have going on in their own life. Not that they're not trustworthy anymore, but maybe they have, in my situation, I had a family member that I had chosen to be our successor trustee, and because of some health diagnoses, didn't want to burden them with that anymore. And so we want to review those successor trustees about every 2 to 3 years, the same way we do the funding, to make sure you still feel like you've got the right person there and that you've got someone that can be able to handle those responsibilities.
Very good. So it's great background on the process, but I know it's about actually taking action, right? I think that's what we try to help people with here on this channel with these videos, is trying to help people know what the next steps are. So if you're someone in this position, Rob, and now you're aware of kind of what's out there and what's available, how do you take those next step and actually put this into place?
I think a lot of the clients that we work with, same situation that we're in, have worked so hard over their lifetime to make sure that they've built something that can really take care of their most important treasures in life. And usually that's their family and their loved ones. And particularly those that have special needs children, even more so on that side. And I would hope that anyone that's listening that wants to take that next step, that's looking at saying, hey, maybe there's some gaps in our financial plan that we need to have reviewed. We'd love to sit down for a discovery meeting where we could be able to dive deep into that and take a look at it. And the cool thing about all of this is it can be custom built for your specific situation. And so it's really hard to give a lot of advice over a podcast like here, but this is really where it's hopefully energizing and getting you thinking a little bit and understanding a little bit about some of the problems and solutions that can be available out there. And we'd love to sit down for a discovery meeting to be able to get to know your situation better and how we could custom design something that worked for you.
Yeah, well said. Take advantage of that. AxioWM.com. You'll find all the contact information in the show description below. But I know for many people that you're working with, Rob, and people that are probably going to be watching our shows every single week, they care about their family. They want to make sure their family's taken care of. And I know that you're a big proponent of being a good steward with that wealth. So hopefully this will help you kind of see how best to take care of those special needs people in your life and the situations that not everybody faces, but a good number of people do. And if that is important to you, please reach out to Rob and make sure to sit down with that discovery call and begin talking through some of the concerns, questions that you might have, and learn more about how Axio Wealth can help you. Very good, Rob. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I think that's great. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching Legacy Beyond Wealth. We'll see you again soon.